Oh shoot. Okay, so that video did really well. I guess y'all want a sequel. Well, I'll tell you what, I will deliver. Dogmons is a Brazilian knockoff of Pokemon that came out in like 2002. From what I understand, the first episode was aired in like 5 parts, which I don't even know how that happens. Like, how do you enjoy a cartoon that airs in 5 parts for the first episode? Apparently, there were an additional 2 episodes made that just never aired, plus plans to make a 17-episode season. From what I understand, the entire series of like 3 episodes was leaked onto YouTube. From the intro, it does honestly look pretty cool. It's Brazilian animation trying to imitate that of anime, which was pretty novel at the time. Even now, it's kind of novel for Western shows to imitate anime. Although, I think that it's pretty obvious that the show is not just ripping off Pokemon, but also Digimon. In fact, you could argue that it's ripping off Digimon just as much as it is ripping off Pokemon. The entire concept revolves around this 12-year-old boy Alex and his cousins being sent into the world of Dogmon, which is apparently also just like a completely different planet. So I guess, let's throw some sci-fi in there as well, I guess. And then they fight robots, and I guess they even evolve their Dogmons. Like, I don't even know what they were, like, going for with this show, but, like, I guess I get it. But I mean, like, this came out in, like, 2002, my guy. Like, this was around the same time that you had Pokemon, the anime, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Digimon. Like, who's trying to go for this? I mean, even Monster Rancher was out. I'd just like to take this chance to say, what's up? And no, that's not like a greeting or anything. It's just the next bootleg I'm talking about is literally called What's Up. Yeah, I think the thing that's ripping it off is pretty obvious, but you need it to be spelled out. What's Up is a ripoff of Disney's Up. And see, this movie couldn't even be like a regular, knockoff movie. Because, ripping off Up seems like it'd be pretty straightforward. They have spies and a copious amount of racism for some reason.
I want that Chinese guy in there with my monsters. He didn't even say anything when I showed him the cookie.
Did you try showing him a fortune cookie? That could have worked.
What? Hey, Beijing! Give me a hand, will ya?
Cheese.
Perfect, China! I promise to give you some Moo Goo Gai Pan when we get back to the house.
But did you really have to pick someone who might be smarter than me?
Yo, what the hell? I swear to God, I really don't know what the hell they were thinking here. This ripoff is actually Russian, and I don't even know what's going on in it. Like, I remember watching I Hate Everything's review on it, and I think I've seen this movie myself, but I legitimately don't even remember. I don't think this movie was meant to be seen by human eyes or processed by the human brain. This movie is a movie that exists, I think. Remember the Titanic? That great historical tragedy? If not, you might just remember it as that one movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in it. I am legitimately breaking my rule here of making all of these cartoons foreign by including this. But I mean, James Cameron is from Canada, so I guess this is an American ripoff of a Canadian film. But the Titanic was made in America. I don't care. I will do anything to include this movie on the list. This movie is legitimately insensitive. This movie came out in what, 2000 or something? The last Titanic survivor died in 2009. Bruh, imagine living long enough to see the terror you witnessed on that very fateful day be immortalized as a movie with talking animals. See, this movie doesn't just stop at ripping off the Titanic, it also rips off Cinderella. You have a whole subplot with this orphan girl, her evil stepmother, and her 2 evil stepsisters. Like, what is going on here? And then you have these weird Mexican mice who seem to be very stereotypical for some reason. This is like the weirdest thing I have seen in a long time. I don't even know what was going on in this. Hey, do you like Winnie the Pooh? Do you like Mother Russia as well? How about Soviet Winnie the Pooh? Technically, this isn't even a ripoff as much as it is an adaptation, as this doesn't actually rip off the original Disney cartoon, so much as it just adapts the original book series, with a few minor changes, such as omitting characters who are human, such as Christopher Robin. And I'm not sure if this was actually officially licensed or not. It could have been, which would mean that this wouldn't even be a knockoff. But even if it wasn't, the only thing that would be keeping this from being an adaptation and not a knockoff would be a few decades. The Legend of Lucky Pie. Yeah, this one's not as much of a ripoff as Adventure Time as much as it is just heavily inspired by it. Almost to a dangerous degree, honestly. This was made by an independent group of Chinese animators, basically as just a passion project. Unlike Miracle Star, it's not just some shameless ripoff meant to sell a product like milk powder of all things. It's just a beautiful animation that is just heavily inspired by Adventure Time. It obviously had a lot of work put into it, and they obviously weren't cheaping out either. And honestly, I'd argue that it's pretty decent. It's pretty good even. Welcome to the Cars Life duology. I'm not even going to talk about the second one, so I don't know why I mentioned that there's a duology. I'm only going to talk about the first one because that's all I can bear to look at, and I'm not looking at this stuff for very long when I'm editing it. I refuse to look at this stuff. So this is a really weird movie. That is the only real way I can put it. In this movie, it seems to have absolutely nothing to do with cars, despite the main characters all being cars. So you have this little car dude who's like a little kid, and the whole story revolves around him and his daddy car. No, like his actual biological father. How does the biology in this work? He basically meets a female car who basically peer pressures him to get piercings and do all this other weird stuff. And then the movie has a car death scene, I think. What is going on here? Yeah, I think that it's a pretty obvious knockoff of Disney's Cars. Also, it was made by one person, which also explains a lot. Then we have the show called Bailey, I think. Bailey. If you're Russian, please don't massacre me. Not being insensitive, I just can't pronounce this. This is just like an obvious ripoff of Gravity Falls, and I don't even think anybody can deny it. Like, come on, just look at it. They even copied the poses. To make it less obvious, they just start combining the characters at a certain point. Like, combining Pacifica and Mabel, which must be really confusing for Dipper. I mean, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. The show revolves around this kid basically just learning a different language, which I guess is cool. From what I understand, there's only one episode out there, and it's like a pilot, so not much to say on this one.
Oh, who lives in a take-out box on the seafloor? Who loves his brainwashing and always wants more?
I know people are gonna want me to talk about this one, and I put it into the thumbnail for a very obvious reason. I know people want me to talk about this one, and so I will. This is not a ripoff. This is a fan-made parody. I really don't know why people think that this is real. Like, if you have seen this on YouTube, you would know there is no goddamn way this parody is real. But most people haven't, and so I will talk about it. This is a racist, and I do mean racist, like legit, YouTube parody of SpongeBob, where he's basically just set in China. And I guess the takeaway message is supposed to be communism is good. Yo, don't skip this part, Please, if you've got it this far in the video, like, subscribe, comment, please get me to 1,000 subscribers. Yo, I'm living in a cardboard box, please. Nah, I'm just joking with y'all. But if y'all want to see part 3, comment down below with suggestions of other videos you would like to see or other rip-off cartoons you think I should talk about. But until next time, peace out. Hey, if you guys have been wondering where the hell I've been for the last 2 weeks, well, I've been working on videos for my second channel. Animation can be a pain in the rear end, and I'm also not feeling all too well. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would hop over to the second channel and check out my content there. I'm still working on videos that are gonna be on that channel. So far, I have 2 videos that I'm working on for that channel. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't know when they're gonna come out. But just to get it out of the way, here's a preview of what you can expect on the second channel.
Hey, it's a Mario, but what I want to know is who to Goomba are you and what the fuck?
What?
Are you doing in the Mushroom Kingdom?
Where the hell am I?
You better not be with that Sora kid, God, he was a pain in the ass.
Excuse me.
But he did bring that fine piece of jailbait Kiri with him.
Are you like white EDP?
You got a name, kid,
What?
You keep saying that. Is that like a sound you make? You must be one of those Pokemon that I met in subspace with the way you're talking your blank ass must be with Sonic or something.